So when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, one thing is undeniable, which is that in the past decade, their team management has had a great eye for talent as far as draft picks. And I know they're fresh off choosing Wiseman over LaMelo, but they get a pass. It made sense as far as the fit, and they just wanted a center. But like I said, it's pretty much undeniable that a lot of their success is because of their intelligent use of the NBA draft. Because sure, they signed KD, but they also literally drafted 3 future Hall of Famers in just a 5-year span. Whether you like the team or not, we don't see that very often. And in recent history, they've definitely known what they're doing. However, this year I really don't know, because as the draft approaches and more news is being made public, reports are claiming that if the Warriors keep the 7th pick, then they'll be targeting guys like Book Knight, Davion Mitchell, Moses Moody, Scotty Barnes, and Corey Kispert. Now this list of options is pretty good, and Corey or Moses Moody are probably the best choices. But if there's one player they really shouldn't choose as early as 7th, it's definitely Davion Mitchell. And don't get me wrong, he's a very solid prospect that's worthy of a top 15 pick for sure. But today I'll explain why he's slightly overrated and why the Warriors should look elsewhere if they keep their 7th spot. But really quick before I move on, what's up YouTube, Plug Speaks, back for the vid. If you're new, first of all, welcome, go ahead and sub, also like the vid if you enjoy. I upload 3 to 4 times a week and we're currently grinding for 5K, so I'd for sure appreciate it. We're also really getting close to 4K, but back to the vid though. Now, when I say Davion Mitchell is overrated, it's really as simple as me thinking he's projected a little higher than he should be. For instance, during NBA Draft Lottery Night, popular NCAA basketball expert Jay Bilas revealed who he believes to be the top 5 prospects in the draft. And obviously that's subjective, everyone has different opinions, but man, the list was really suspect. Because not only was Davion Mitchell ranked 5th, but Jalen Green was somehow ranked 4th on the list. And y'all, there's just no way the best scorer of the draft, Jalen Green, falls to 4. But back to Davion Mitchell, like I just pointed out, his draft stock has steadily gone up as the draft approaches. Both experts and many mock drafts believe he'll be taken before the 10th spot. And honestly, it's understandable given what he can do. But considering some of his flaws and the many other talents in this loaded draft, it just wouldn't make sense for the Warriors to choose him at number 7. And here's why. First off, out of all the general top 10 prospects, Davion Mitchell has the least upside. Because not only is he the oldest at 22 going on 23, but he's also the shortest at 6'1" in shoes. So basically, the team that picks him will be getting a player who they know will probably have the smallest breakout season of everyone in the top 10. And that's not to say he won't get much better than he is, because there's definitely multiple year NCAA players that are undersized and have had plenty of success in the NBA. But from strictly a potential standpoint, Davion Mitchell literally has the least amount of upside compared to everyone else. And because of that, it just wouldn't be smart to choose him as early as 7 or top 5. He could still ball out and become a good player, but when someone else projected a little later becomes even better, say Moses Moody, you would only have yourself to blame. Moses is both 3 years younger and 5 inches taller, but moving on to another reason. Honestly, I'm not sure if I fully trust Davion Mitchell's shooting ability, and I know that sounds absolutely crazy because he just shot 51% from the field and 44% from 3 as a junior at Baylor. However, there are some legitimate reasons for my doubts. Firstly, he shot 67% on free throws, and his first 2 years in the NCAA are in the 60th percentile as well, which obviously doesn't add up. It's pretty rare for great 3-point shooters or even average 3-point shooters to shoot so poorly on free throws. Matter of fact, off the top of my head, I can't think of any players known as great shooters that shoot so poorly from the line. And maybe that's just a coincidence and Davion will shoot lights out in the NBA, but for now that's definitely a red flag. And then on top of that, Even Davion's 3-point shooting over the years is a little questionable, because although he shot an amazing 44% from 3 this year, his first 2 years in the NCAA were completely different. It was 29% as a freshman and 32% as a sophomore. Now it makes sense to look at this and feel like it's no big deal, and that if anything, it shows he truly worked on his game to become a threat from the perimeter, and I kind of agree with that. But it's also fair to believe that the lack of 3-point consistency paired with his strange free throw struggles are evidence that he may not be as good a shooter as his most recent shooting percentages make it seem. So yeah, it's just a little concerning. But ultimately, we won't know until next season, so I'm sure the Warriors and other top 10 teams have already given that reality some thought. But anyway, moving on to the last reason as to why Davion is slightly overrated. Now, we should all know that March Madness can have a tremendous boost on the draft interest of players. I mean, a great NCAA tournament run can literally be the difference between a player going undrafted and being taken in the first round. So it's a huge blessing in that regard. However, it can also be a curse for GMs, because the success can be misleading and can cause teams to think players are more NBA ready than they really are. For example, Max Samus and Johnny Juzang are 2 players that had amazing runs in this year's tournament, and as a result, they both earned some NBA draft buzz after being projected to go undrafted, and personally, I thought they were both going to be huge steals. However, after disappointing games from both of them in the NBA Combine scrimmages, both of them chose to return to their respective schools to further develop. Mind you, they seemed like locks to get drafted. It was just a month away, but apparently the Combine made that much of a difference, made a huge difference. And I guess they felt like they had more work to do as they chose to return to school. So basically, the same way the tournament sort of boosted their draft stock out of proportion, I think the fact that Baylor kind of won the whole thing is boosting Davion's draft stock a little out of proportion. Now, I don't think he should return to Baylor at all. He's NBA ready, and again, worthy of a top 15 pick. But things like expert, very respectable, Jay Billis putting him top 5, and the Warriors looking to take him at 7 are likely a result of March Madness having a little too much influence. And it's hard to blame him because again, Baylor literally won the whole thing and Davion played a big part in that. But it's not like he won MLP, which is basically the NCAA version of Finals MVP, that went to his teammate Jared Butler. Not to mention, he didn't play in the NBA Combine scrimmages, so we don't even know if it would have improved or lowered his draft stock. But regardless, I'm not here to act as if he's not good. If anything, it's impressive that a 6-footer is even in top 10 or top 5 pick conversations. Plus, he's a great defender and provides plenty of value on offense. But ultimately, to me, he's just a little overrated. But anyways, that's about it for this topic. And y'all let me know in the comments whether or not you agree, and if the Warriors should choose someone like Davion Mitchell with the 7th pick, or if not, who else? But that's pretty much it. I appreciate y'all watching as always. Like this up, share it, sub if new, all of that, and I'm out.